Hey everyone, Random Crayon here, back for part 5 of the 162 Bounty Builder hand history review. If you recall from part 4, we just raised the pocket 7s and took it down with a c-bet here on the flop, and if you don't remember that, then please go watch part 4 and any of the other previous segments that you have not seen, so you can be all caught up. Next hand we get pocket 4s, we're under the gun, and while normally we would fold here, it becomes an okay raise because of the 2 short stacks, who we can easily call off because of the bounty factor, and just the fact that we have everyone covered just makes this kind of easy. We have a massive stack, nearly 100 blinds. We can really put some pressure on our opponents. Especially when we're under the gun, we're just going to have a stronger range here in general, so people will be more apt to fold. And we just open and shippity dip the bleezies. Now we have the 9 jack in the BB, facing a min raise from the cutoff. Easy defend, flop decently, have an open-ended straight draw. They c-bet, we decide to just call. No point in raising there. I mean, we could, but we're not going to get it in that grade, and we'll have to call it off if they ship over top of us. So we'd rather just try and realize our equity for cheap and call. And we get an offsuit, or excuse me, a deuce of spades on the turn, which puts out the backdoor flush draw. Goes check check, we get an ace on the river, and we decide to just give up because we figure that they will have paired that ace a lot, and it looks like they may have folded had we bet here since they only have 3rd pair, but I think they are going to show us like ace jack, ace king, you know, and some other just like ace x, like ace 9 or whatever, enough of the time to, you know, make it fine to just check fold here on the river. $7-10 off here on the button. I think we decided to ISO because this guy has like less than 3 blinds and it's pretty deep in the tournament, so he's got to have a solid bounty. And you know, we just have 10 high, but you know, it's good enough to ISO, you know, just to go for that bounty factor, and somehow we're good against 9 high. So the under the gun +1 player opens for 3x. Not going to be good enough to do anything with queen 10 off in the SB there. You know, when players 3x, they generally have a pretty strong range. Now we have king 8 suited on the button, and just fold to this 9 BB shove. John Dayton's a pretty good player. He'll be shoving wide enough there, but he's still going to be balanced. You know, he'll show up with some decent hands there as well. Like king 8 suited is close. It's close. Definitely call like king jack suited. Snap call that. Could call king 10 suited, king 9 suited perhaps, depending on his bounty, but it doesn't seem like it was that much, which is why we folded. Ace 5 suited in the BB, facing a raise from UTG. Flat from UTG +2. Getting great odds. Have a suited wheel draw, very easy call. Flop bottom pair, and it's an easy fold now that we get a bet in the call. Now we have the king 9 off on the button. Just gonna be a fold to this low jack open. Pocket 7s again. In the small blind. Get a open from the hijack, and a 3-bet all in from the cutoff. And then we decide to just ISO because the opener is going to be light enough and the shover is going to be wider than sevens for sure, since they only have like 4 blinds. So we can be comfortable that we have the best hand here, so we might as well just raise for value and try and get it heads up. Which is what happens. Oh. And unfortunately we get counterfeited. But hey, at least it wasn't for much. Oh, doesn't even matter, they had a better hand anyway. I have Queen 10 suited on the button. Get a raise from the low jack, call from the cutoff, easy flat behind. And then a ship and a reship, so standard fold. King 10 here. It's probably a good spot to open. Yeah, especially only 6-handed. Get a flat and a 3-bet, easy fold. No King Jack in the BB. Wow, just facing a massive, like, what, 37 blind shove. You know, like, when they shove like 20 BB blind versus blind, you snap them off with King Jack, but 37's a tad too much. Ace 9 suited, facing a raise from under the gun. But again, we're only 6-handed, so Ace 9 suited goes way up in value. Under the gun is also known as the low jack here. And so we decided to just 3-bet, you know, figuring to have the best hand, make it a little under 3x to, you know, try and balance it with our really strong hands, make it look like we've got a big pair, ace king or ace queen. And we get an ace 6-3 rainbow board, and we decide to just delay c-bet since, like, there's no draws essentially on the flop. You know, I mean, they could have like 4-5, I guess, 4-5 suited for an open ender. But that's pretty much it, and it's doubtful they'll be opening and calling with a hand like that in the first place. So yeah, there's no flush draw. You know, we just want to check here to let them bluff. You know, they have like king queen, they have like jack 10. You know, like, that's the only way we're really going to get another bet out of them, by, you know, checking, like, you know, representing like we have like 9s through kings and trying to let them bluff us off of it. So they just check back instead, and so now the turn brings out a lot of draws. We just got to bet to protect our top pair, and we just take it down, which is a fine result. Ace 10 off. Under the gun +2 could be easy open. Get a call from the cutoff, and the button, and the small blind, and the BB. Flop, top pair. And we decide to just bet a 3rd pot for value, figuring our top pair 10 kicker to be good often enough to make this worth it. You know, in this way we fold out like medium pocket pairs, you know, just broadways, you know, like basically just don't allow some hands to like realize their equity against us. We don't want to just check and, yeah, let like pocket 4s, you know, just like bank a 3 on the turn or something. Or like, you know, if they have like, yeah, 5-6 suited, yeah, we don't want to let them get there for free. So we bet and expect to get called by worse aces sometimes, and at least get the pot like heads up like we do, so the decisions are a little easier on future streets. We just check the blank 6 turn. Don't really see a lot of point in betting now, because when they call, they could have strong hands like deuces or 5s, or, you know, ace 5, ace deuce suited even, for 2 pair trips. So we decide to just pot control and check, and then maybe call, maybe fold, just depending on their size. They check back, which is good news. And so we decided to just bet here again for value, about a 3rd pot, figuring that if they have a worse ace, they can still look us up. Or if they just like have like, yeah, again, like maybe like pocket 4s, you know, 5-7 suited, whatever they decided to peel with on the button, you know, that's worse than our top pair. You know, we just want to give them some room to call with it. You know, they can just ever put us on some sort of bluff. And they just fold and we take it down, which is fine. Again, we could check call here, but I think we're kind of like in the dark a lot when we do that because yeah, they really could just check back the turn with a set or 2 pair. So if they like size it really big in the river, we're not really sure what to do. Probably have to fold. So by leading out here, we get to set the price, and they can still call with worse hands when we bet this amount. And if they raise, we know they've got it. We have pocket 9s in the BB. Yeah, this is one of the more questionable hands of the tournament. In the moment, I thought that I could potentially induce, you know, worse pairs to shove, but in retrospect, I think that's a bit too ambitious. Like, they raise from under the gun, and they have like, what, 28 blinds? So their opening range, you know, should include some worse hands. You know, what we're 8-handed. Yeah, so they should definitely have 7s and 8s. I mean, I don't know if they always raise 7s. I mean, some players do. I mean, 8's 100% raise. I don't know. I mean, some players fold 6s there. Some players still raise like 5s. So I don't know how many worse pairs necessarily is in his range, but he's still gonna have like stuff like Ace-5 suited. You know, he'll have like, yeah, like 10-8 suited. You know, plenty of worse hands in addition to, you know, like all the overs and over pairs. So I think 9 is going to be the best hand here enough of the time, so I think it's fine to just toss in a 3-bet for value. It's kind of like seeing where we're at, even though I know that is kind of donkish, like, but it was more than that, really. Like, I just thought that I could 3-bet to a size that he thought was light, which would, you know, induce him or make him more inclined to, you know, 4-bet shove with something like 8s or 7s or maybe Ace-5 suited, thinking they have some fold equity. Again, in hindsight, I don't necessarily think they get it in with all of those or even any of those hands. I mean, maybe he could 4-bet shove 8s. I don't know, some players fold, some players could flat. And it is kind of a disaster when they flat here and we're playing 9s out of position. We are giving them pretty good odds to do so. So thankfully this dude just ships it instead, and then we can just make the marginal call off here. But, you know, I figure that, you know, if they can ever have 8s or 7s here, which again I think is a little ambitious, then we can call it off. Because they're going to have overs a lot as well, Ace King, Ace Queen, maybe Ace Jack suited. But again, like, I think this is just a tad on the spewy side. I think probably flatting is better. Thankfully they just had Ace King and we shipped the flip. But yeah, I think that's a bit too many blinds to be 3-bet calling off from the BB against an under the gun open, even if it is 8-handed. But thankfully the poker gods were smiling upon us in this hand, and we managed to win a pretty healthy pot. $7-10 off in the BB. Button min opens. We just flat. Get an Ace Queen 4 rainbow board. And just easy check fold. We completely miss. In the BB. It's gonna be a fold against this 2.5x open from early position. Actually, well, there's a flat. Yeah, I mean, it's close. We could maybe defend there, but he did full 2.5 exit, and we get a flat from that small blind, which does give us better odds, but we're offsuit. You know, there's, yeah, a lot of reverse implied odds when we hit our ace, just because they're going to have a better one so much, so we don't really want to pay off any bets, you know, and have to just like kind of play guessing games with, you know, whatever pair we flop. So we just make the decision easier on ourselves post by having it be non-existent, because we just give it up pre. And now we have ace jack in the small blind, and just 3-bet this hijack open for value, and we were going to call a ship. Again, we were sizing it as such to hopefully induce a light 4-bet shove, you know, from something like ace 10 or king queen, and we just take it down instead. Again, very fine result. Always nice when you can just gradually chip up without having to face any variance. Now we get ace jack again, and instead of 3-betting this time, we decided to just flat behind this open and call, because we think that the small blind here maybe could squeeze with worse. We give them the opportunity again to ship it in with like ace 10, king queen, you know, something that ace jack is ahead of. And we're on the button, you know, we have position even if this guy doesn't ship it. So, you know, we'll be able to play post pretty comfortably. You know, like there's, you know, a raise and a call, so we can expect the players in front of us to play pretty honestly because there's, you know, several people in the pot. But Janak just ships it instead, and then the BB reships, so now it's an easy fold. And yeah, I guess we'll play these queens real quick and then wrap this video up. So we min open here under the gun +1, cut off flats, small blind flats, BB calls as well. Get a jack 9-5 rainbow board. We bet a little less than half pot, get raised, and just flat. Figure this guy could be raising jack X for value here. He seems like more on the amateur side. And we check again on the river, figuring our queen's probably be good, but don't really see a lot of value in leading here because I think he's gonna have jack X or just like queen 10, even though I know we block queen 10, but he could still, you know, have some combos of it. You could have 10-8 maybe for a missed open ender as well. But yeah, I mean, especially since the 5 pairs the river, like we can, you know, reduce the number of sets he has. Yeah, I mean, like what he would just have basically pocket 9s, and I doubt he raises the flop with pocket jacks. He probably doesn't even raise with 9s. You know, it's rainbow. He might because of the straight draw, but I don't know. It seems kind of like a stretch. So I think, yeah, we can be pretty comfortable that our queens are ahead here with this action. So we just decided, yeah, just call him down. And we were right. He just had king jack for the overvalued top pair. And with that, we are gonna end this vid. Thanks for joining us for part 5. Hope to see you guys back for part 6.